Hi everyone, this is Mr. Data, and welcome back to the DataVerse, where I crunch the numbers so you don't have to. So today I want to run through mcMMO, the elusive and mysterious aspect of Neo Network and many of the other Skyblock and SMP survival type servers. And the reason I wanted to run through this is that YouTube Analytics has actually told me that it's something that you guys search a ton of, but you can't find the proper information for it. So I've spent some time, I've ran the numbers, I've created a long list that I'm going to run through here, although I'll run through it pretty quickly, just to give you all the highlights, everything that you need to know to get the absolute most out of it. Now, mcMMO, there is a link below. Please check it out to the mcMMO wiki page. It is absolutely wonderful. It's where I've gathered a lot of my information. And I highly recommend you check it out because there's a lot of information there. But to keep in mind, though, the reason I wanted to put this together is that it is accurate, but every server customizes their own settings for mcMMO so that things are absolutely different for every server that you check out. But yeah, let's hop into it. So we've broken down mcMMO into four separate categories. That would be mining, gathering, combat, and miscellaneous, and what you can gather from each one of those. I'm also going to try and put below a checkpoints so that you can, chapters, so that you can jump between and find what you're looking for quickly, and also to be a good reference point back while you're playing, just to bring the video back up and hop back to that one part that you're looking for. But let's hop into it. All right, so number one is mining. That includes mining, repair, and smelting. Now, the main thing you want to know, the most important thing about mining, is the super breaker. This is unlocked at level 50, and just to run the numbers for you, what that actually means is that at level 50 you get super breaker, and the description reads: super breaker, it's activated by right-clicking with a pickaxe in hand. It will temporarily add 5 efficiency levels to the held pickaxe, triple the drop rate, and replace normal rate drops with triple drops. In other words, Super Breaker stacks with Fortune 3 enchantments and so on. Now, it has a 240 second cooldown duration, and as far as like how long does it actually last, at level 50 you immediately get 2 seconds of duration. Now, this increases by 1 second every 50 levels at a cap of 2,000. So what's the equation for that? The equation for that is 2,000 minus 50 divided by 50 plus 2. In short, it is a max duration of 41 seconds. And as you can see here, I hold shift and I click. As you can see, it quickly clears out everything. Now, I've only got level 113, so it does not last me very long at all. It's very quick. But that is the main thing you want to know about mining. But also, look here. That's from not really that great of a pick. Just a couple seconds. It is absolutely insane. And now once you hit higher levels, looks like I missed some. Once you hit higher levels, this is going to last for a very, very long time. Incredibly useful skill. You unlock it at level 50 and it caps out at level 2000. Now, as far as the double drops, what we found with that is that double drops is a passive skill that allows the player to gain 2 items instead of the usual one when mining naturally generated blocks. Now, the odds of this happening, it increases 0.1% per level at a max of 100% at level 1000. That means that at level 1000 mcMMO mining rank, you get 100% chance of double drops. And guys, keep in mind, this includes your fortune upgrades, so it is absolutely insane. Definitely level up your mining. It's worth it. Now, next, under the mining section, we've got repair. This honestly does absolutely nothing, but what it should do in vanilla is it would include, it basically makes your stuff last longer, and it also makes them repair more. But the way that you level this up is just by simply smelting, which I know our next section is smelting, and these will they're both basically included under repair. They don't really matter. Basically with this, it just makes it so that your items last longer, and your when you're smelting something, the fuel lasts longer, but that's literally all it does. Under the mining section, the only thing you want to worry about is that super breaker. It is the most important part of this. The rest of those do not matter. Now, if you're trying to hit mcMMO top and get the ranks for that, then you absolutely want to use both of these. But keep in mind, if you want to level up your smelting, you cannot have a hopper that's taking these items out. You only get experience for it when you take the items out of your furnace. That is the only time that it counts. So yeah, now if you want to check that skill, we just type in /mining, and we can see I've got level 114. It shows how much XP I have. Don't worry about any of these. They don't really matter other than Super Breaker. You can see that one is rank 1. And it has a duration of 4 seconds. Now, let's see. Yep, that's really all you need to know for those. So let's hop on over to the next section. All right, so for our next section, we have fishing. Gathering. Gathering includes fishing, herbalism, and woodcutting. So what do you need to know about these? First off, of course, like I mentioned earlier, you've got fishing. Fishing is a tier-based unlock system, or rank-based, whatever you want to call it. It unlocks at level 1, and then it upgrades at level 250, 350, 500, 650, 750, 850, and caps out at 1000. Now I'm going to put here a little thing that includes all the different tiers and what that actually unlocks. But as you can see, basically it unlocks the rarity chance. At tier 1 you get a percentage chance to get uncommons, commons, and a tiny chance to get record-breaking, legendary, epic, and so on. And as you can see, it caps out at, first off, at the rank 1, your 7.5% chance to get commons and 7.68% to get traps. Now, I don't believe that traps are a part of Neo Network, but instead you're just going to get junk, garbage, basically. But once you cap out all the way at tier 8, you're going to get items like, instead of a 7.5% chance of getting something common, you're going to get a 0.1% chance of getting something common. And instead of a 0.01% chance of getting a legendary, you have a 5% chance instead of getting a legendary. Now, the other thing that you'll notice here is that there is it's a fisherman's diet skill. I don't want you guys to worry about that at all. What fisherman's diet is basically your food fills, your fish that you fish, they fill more of your hunger bar. Honestly, again, in Skyblock, it does not matter. The only thing you want to know is that the more that you fish, the more likely you are to get higher rarity fish. And now keep in mind also, this does scale with all of the different enchants, like the custom enchants, the trophy enchant, that kind of thing. It does scale with that. So again, mcMMO, when it comes to fishing, the more you fish, the higher your level, capping out at level 1000, you're more likely to get higher quality fish. But that's about it. All right, so next we have herbalism. Herbalism it's a bit tough to actually farm up your herbalism. But the most important thing that you need to know about herbalism is that at level 1000, everything that you have will automatically replant. Now, how do you level up your herbalism? Simple. You have to use a hoe. It doesn't count if you don't use a hoe, but you have to use a hoe, at least on crops, you have to use a hoe, and that will give you your enchant or your herbalism levels. You don't get anything for planting them. You only get something if you are harvesting them. Now, as you guys have probably seen in a lot of Neo's recent Let's Play videos, one of the current best ways to do this is probably these guys, cocoa beans. The reason for that is, you guys saw how much experience I got off of that. Now for this, we can use an axe, but if we use an axe, oh, there we go. So I have almost no levels in herbalism on this account, and that's already boosted me to level 1, or excuse me, level 2. Now we keep going. Now, keep in mind, if we had this like Neo had in his Let's Play series, and we had this built all the way to the top and the bottom, then think about how much we would have just earned off of that. Now, off of doing that, we earned level 3. Off of doing that patch, which took a while to grow, we got a quarter of the way to level 1. That's it. So cocoa beans are definitely a great way to do it. I will say that if you have waterless crops, waterless sugarcane, it is one of the best ways to do it in my opinion, because you can clear an entire field of sugarcane in no time at all. It takes nothing to clear an entire field. It's insane. But big thing you need to know here again is that at level 1000, everything will automatically replant. Now, I did previously have an herbalism grinder video that was very successful last season, but they've disabled that because they wanted everyone to do it in a much more natural way. Now, there are a couple other things you'll see here. There's farmer's diet, a lot like the fisherman's diet, but that one, honestly, it doesn't matter, again, because all that it is basically, with the fisherman's diet, your food fills up more of your hunger bar. Again, just doesn't matter. So that's about it for herbalism. Keep in mind, level 1000, you will automatically replant everything, as long as you're using your farmer's harvester. And cocoa beans are an extremely fast way to do it, but you have to plan for it. Build one out as tall as you can, or as small as you can, or as long as you can, to quickly refill that. But that's about it as far as herbalism goes. Alright, so next is wood cutting. Wood cutting, the main thing you want to know about here is tree felling. Tree felling is absolutely wonderful, and you unlock it at level 50. You can see if I crouch and right click, and I try and use it, it says I need 46 more levels. But basically what this does is every time that you use it, it only lasts for a second or two, but every time that you hit a tree, you barely hit the tree, it takes it down immediately. This is great because when you have a long line of trees, much longer than this, you can run straight through and clear out all of the trees, and it actually gets you a ton of sky coins for doing it. It was actually the meta, I believe, for season 2 was using tree felling. Now, thing to keep in mind with this is that every 5 levels, it increases how long your tree fell ability lasts by 1 second. But it caps out at level 100 at 22 seconds. Now, that doesn't sound like a really long time, but if you have a farm and you're like say you have wither rank, you can actually use speed 4 and tree feller together, and you can run through a massive tree farm in 22 seconds and clear out the whole thing. It is absolutely broken, absolutely worth using. Another thing to keep in mind here, though, is that when you use tree feller, it's only going to drop the wood. Most times you're going to miss out on a lot of extra saplings. So it's important to either buy those saplings or collect them beforehand so that you have yourself a good sized stock that you can fall back on, because you won't be able, you probably won't get many out of it whenever you use your tree fell ability, if any at all. So keep in mind, definitely have those on hand. But that is about it for our gathering. Next, we've got combats. Let's check that out. Alright, so for the combat section, this breaks down into a couple different parts. It breaks down into unarmed, archery, swords, and axes. So the first one you've got here is unarmed. Now, unarmed, it's definitely ignored a bit more than it probably should be. But all that you do is you literally just hit something, an entity, while you don't have anything equipped. Now, as you can see, I'm not doing a ton of damage, and it's a little bit inaccurate, but that's okay. So what do you need to know about unarmed? It is gained by, again, hitting mobs with no weapon equipped, and one of the absolute best ways to level this up, gotta get that. One of the absolute best ways to level this up is by using iron golems. You want to farm iron golems with unarmed to get that ability up. Now, a couple things that it gets are, first time would be berserker. unlocked at level 50, I believe, and you get 50% more damage over a short time. It adds up the damage as it goes. Next would be the Steel Arm style, and adds extra damage per level. It gives a base extra damage of 3. Again, this is unlocked at level 50 as well, and it gives a base damage upgrade of 3, and every 50 levels it gives you 1 extra damage, capping out at level 250 for a total of 8 extra damage for your unarmed attacks. That is more than, let's see, yep, see 9.5. That's 8 extra damage on top of your, it's as good as a sword, basically. It's insane. The other thing that it gives you is arrow deflect. It gives you 0.05% per level until a max of 50% at level 1000. This is really great for you PvP guys to level up, because if somebody's shooting arrows at you, there's a 50% chance it's just not gonna hit. It's absolutely insane. Now you will, if you look at the wiki, you'll see an ability called Disarm. This is not enabled. This is not enabled. It would be just too overpowered for OP. It would be too overpowered for PvP, because you would literally take their weapon, and that's too much. It's a good thing that that is disabled. Next we've got, oh, I forgot, also it has looting. So I don't have the exact breakdown for this. I wasn't able to find it on the wiki page, but the more that you level up your unarmed, it actually gets its own passive looting skill, which is actually quite a bit more than you think it is. And fun fact, if Perk's watching this, he'll appreciate this. Little known secret, in the first season of SMP, early on, Perk spent a ton of time upgrading his unarmed skill, and he was actually seen killing the D-Boss, getting rank 1 in D-Boss with unarmed. That's how powerful it can be, guys. I mean, you're talking about going up against guys who have really nice sets of gear, and this guy runs in here with unarmed, and he takes out the Dragon Boss and gets top level. Absolutely insane. Keep in mind, guys, if you want to level this up, grind those golems. It's worth it. Next, we've got archery, which, let's see. There we go. I haven't leveled up at many of these at all because I don't do any PvP, just to be honest with you guys. But what this gets you, first off, you can get daze. This is PvP. It causes nausea. At level 20, you have a 1% chance. At level 40, a 2% chance. At level 60, a 3% chance. At level 80, a 4%, 100, 5%, 200, 10%, 315. Oh, I unlocked the skill. Whoops. Level 315% chance, level 420% chance, level 525% chance, and it caps out at level 1000 with a 50% chance. Basically, it causes nausea. It's very disruptive when it comes to PvP. Next one you have here is arrow retrieval. I'm not sure what level this one unlocks. We can check though. Let's see if we just type in archery. We'll have to check that command. But for this one, it just gives you a chance that you'll regain your arrows. For a lot of these bows, you'll see that they have infinity on them, but honestly, you can also just farm a ton of skeletons, so I don't see this one really mattering that much. And the last ability for arrows would be bonus damage. It's raised by 10% per 50 kills, capping at level 1000, which is triple damage, which can actually mean one-hit kills in PvP. Absolutely ridiculous. Level 1000, you can get triple damage on your bows. Absolutely insane. All right, next we have our swords. Swords are, you just gain it by hitting stuff with a sword, and that is it. Basically, first off, you've got Rupture, which is basic bleed damage. It increases total damage and tick amounts per level, capping at level 1000. And it caps out at 6 hearts per second. Caps out with 6 seconds at a half heart per second. So basically, if you were able to use serrated strike, then it would give them 3 total hearts worth of bleed damage. Next, you've got serrated strike, which is also the bleed effect. Well, bleed effect must be activated. And honestly, this one, it just does extra damage on that bleed. It doesn't really make too much of a difference in PvP. Third, you have counterattack. It gives a counterattack chance to remove half of a heart from an attacker. This caps at 31%. Again, in PvP, that half heart, not going to make a huge difference, but it's there. It's there for free as long as you upgrade that sword damage, so it can be pretty useful. Next, we've got our axes, which breaks out into Skull Splitter. And let me back up. Axes are the absolute choice weapon for PvP. So if you want to be PvP one day, then make sure to train up your axes, because they do some awful damage, and they're definitely worth it. So first off, you've got Skull Splitter. Skull Splitter increases your critical chance for 2 seconds, and it increases by 1 second every 50 levels. Also, you've got Critical Strike, which has a base, it's just a base crit chance, and it caps out at 50%. You've got Axe Mastery, which increases base damage by 0.02 per level, and it caps out at +4 damage at level 200. Now the big ones here would be Armor Impact. Armor Impact increases damage done to armor directly. You guys ever ran through PvP and somebody just totally destroys your armor? That's what this is. They do damage to both you and your armor, but it caps out at 25% chance to trigger, 2 extra damage to mob armor, and that part doesn't really matter. But in short, you can hurt their armor directly. So if you're in a huge PvP fight, everybody has this amazing gear, and you use this, you have a chance of actually destroying a piece of their armor. Very devastating. Next and last, we've got Greater Impact, which is bonus knockback damage, which I don't think I have my stuff leveled up enough to really show you this, but basically you'll see it shoot them way far back. It's a lot of knockback, which in short, it has about it has a 25% chance to trigger, and it just knocks them back and does 2 extra damage to mob armor. But to be honest, guys, nobody in PvP is actually going to really be wearing mob armor, so it's not really going to be that useful. Alright, so that is it for combat. The big thing to keep in mind is that unarmed, it is worth it. You can get 50% arrow deflect, which can be very useful. Swords are nice, just because Slayer Blades, you're going to be using that anyways. But axes are the choice weapon for PvP because of that armor impact and greater impact. Absolutely worth it. And crit chance. They can be absolutely devastating, guys. But that's about it as far as combat goes. Alright, so last here we have the miscellaneous section. The only one I really wanted to include here is Alchemy. It is totally useless as far as the server goes, but again, if you want to hit that mcMMO top, like the total power level, you're going to want to have this, and it's literally just gained by brewing potions, and that's it. Really simple, not much to it, just brew potions. But the important one I wanted to go over here, and the one that is so very often forgotten, is parties. You guys need to be using parties. And actually, I'm going to see if I can grab one of my buddies real quick so we can show you that. Alright, so next we've got parties. They're very often ignored, and please do not ignore them. They're incredibly useful. The reason for that is that parties allow you to actually share XP, and the more people that you have in your party, the more XP that it actually shares. So first thing you need to know is party create, and then I'm going to call it grind, and I'm going to do party invite. We've got the Unholy QC. He's here joining us to help me out. He's from my main island, but I sent him an invite. Hopefully he will join here in just a second. And basically what happens is once he accepts this and our party reaches level 10, which doesn't take very long at all. There we go. So he accepted. Thank you. So basically all he's going to do is he's going to sit here and kill mobs or whatever. And once we hit party level 10, which we can check party, we're level 0 right now, but it doesn't take much time at all. But at party level 10, you unlock XP sharing, which means he can be over here. He's hitting this with unarmed. I can be over here fishing, and we'll actually share mcMMO XP. Guys, this is absolutely huge. If you want to AFK on your island, then all that you need is you need to set a party. And then whoever is sitting over here grinding forever, they're going to earn you mcMMO experience while you do absolutely nothing. Now, the key things to remember here. First thing is the party max, I think, is like 10 people. And at 10 people, you get a 50% bonus to XP earned. But at level 1, you get a 10%, level 2 is a 15%, level 3 is a 30%, level 45 is, level 9 people is a 45%, and 10 people is a 50% bonus completely. Now, the things you need to know here, is it works with every single mcMMO skill. So he can be over here doing his thing, killing mobs, and I can be over here mining, and we will actually be sharing our mcMMO skills. On top of that, a couple commands that you need to know are /party. That gives you your information. See, we're almost a quarter of the way to level 1. Doesn't take much time at all. Party XP share. That is how you turn on XP sharing, which we can't because we haven't reached that level yet. There is /party create, and then you title the name. You've got party password. So we actually use this on our main island. We've got one person that actually Sparkles, she pretty much never has to log out of her computer, so she has a running mcMMO party going, and she set the party password to whatever, and all that we have to do is we can type in /party join lady Sparkles, and then we would type in whatever her password is. So she doesn't even have to be there. As long as we have that password, we can always rejoin her party. Now, other than that, say that she does have to hop off and you don't want to lose the party and have to reformat. We just type in party leader, and then you type in another player. And there we go. I just made him the party leader so that now I can log off and anyone that is on the party can rejoin. Now again, once we hit level 10, then while he's sitting here fishing, I'll actually earn that skill and I can be over here mining and whatever else. Guys, this is one of the absolute best ways to do it. In fact, if your whole island, say you've got an island of 10 people, 5 people, whatever, you guys all join the same party and you guys all work on your mcMMO skills, you'll get to level 1000 crazy fast. It is a great way to really boost that gain. But that is about it. Oh, also, if you needed to know /party help, and if you ever want to check any of these skills, the commands that you want to know is just / the name of the skill. So /mining, /axes, Alchemy, and so on. You can check the skills that way. There's also the /mcMMO top. Oops. Top. Let me bring up those. That's not right. One moment. Let's see. I'll post all these in here as well later, but yeah, we're gonna need to pull those. Okay. So I'll pull all those and I'll put those in the description below, but the big thing you need to know, make a party, guys. If you have more than one person on your island, make a party. Or if you're doing like a big public event and you get people to join, make everybody join your party. Make sure they join so that everyone who joins, they benefit from it. You don't lose anything at all by doing this. It is absolutely worth it. So that's about it for mcMMO. And as you guys can see in the upper that way, we are so close to hitting 1,000. Once we hit that 1,000 and we're officially monetized on YouTube, I plan to do a very huge giveaway. As much as I can afford, we're going to rank up as many of you guys as we can. So if you are not subscribed, please do subscribe. You absolutely have to be subscribed to get in that drawing. But that is about it. I appreciate you all joining the DataVerse, and thanks for stopping by.